Is sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you live this Monday from our respective homes. We're going to be out on the road later this week, but boy, what an eventful weekend. We're joined as usual by Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Lots to talk about. Lubie went to Kaizen Sushi, one of my favorites. Defo, I'm guessing, probably went to one of his favorite pari-mutuel facilities. And I was all over the map. But today, gentlemen, I've got to start with a special news bulletin. This just in, the University of Miami just found its next head coach.
Gabriel, that was you.
There you go.
Here he is. I say he's the perfect man for the job. He knows how to take a knee. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose to you your next University of Miami Hurricanes coach, Colin Kaepernick. What say you guys?
Lubie, you're all over this.
I'm still trying to figure out what happened, as most Miami fans are.
Now, how much does this guy make? This Mario Pisarcik, or whatever his last name is?
$8 million a year to make a decision like that. Can you imagine?
$80 million contract, right? So, like, if he gets fired right on the spot, they owe him the balance of the whatever it is now, like $72 million for, you know.
Oh, no, this is year 2, and the buyouts aren't exactly like that. There's always a buyout number if they want to buy a guy out. So it's not exactly what the entire contract is, but it's usually a nice chunk, especially when they're giving you 80 over 10.
So where do we get this kind of work? I know that I have a pretty cush gig now. I get paid to go out and eat. They feed me and they feed me and treat me like royalty. And we go up to Gulfstream on a Friday, and I feel like a king because they're bringing out all kinds of lovely lunches, and we get our racing forms and we start betting. And you know, I'm getting basically we're getting paid to gamble and eat. Which is pretty good, but we even know, like, you know, how to start the show and end the show, and not just wrap it up in a nice bow and do our spots, but you know, we know how to do basic math, and the basic math for a coach that's making $8 million a year is if you can't subtract 35 from 33 and see that it's a negative number, how do you still have a job, Defo?
No,
I was shocked. I mean, I think you did the same thing. I was interested in the USC game, which was getting underway right around the end of that ball game. And I was thinking, I watched the predominant portion of that Hurricanes game. I'm still interested in the Hurricanes and curious to see if they really have sort of turned the corner. And do they have better talent? Are they better coached? Was last year a little bit of an aberration? So I got to the end of the game. They fell behind. They got that big touchdown play, and then all of a sudden they had the lead. Game was on the wraps, and I switched off.
I went to sleep.
And I was shocked when I came back, and I tuned back in just to see what the final score was to make sure. And I see the Georgia Tech quarterback being interviewed. And I thought, why would they be talking to this guy? I mean, he basically was under annihilation from the entire defense all game long. And then I realized, holy bleep, they must have somehow won. How is that possible? And then, then we saw the aftermath, which was that the guy ran a play, and running back unfortunately fumbled the football. And 2 plays later, from 75 yards away, Georgia Tech, really, also ran type of commodity in the ACC, had just derailed your undefeated season.
I went to sleep when there was 1:30 left, and they had that long replay. They were reviewing whether it was or wasn't a first down that UM had gotten. And I said, all right, well, if it's a first down, then they're going to, just run out the clock, and they don't have enough timeouts. I turned it off. I went to sleep. I woke up on Sunday morning, and I go onto Facebook as usual to start doing some adminning for the Let's Eat South Florida group. And hello, everybody. And I saw a post on the personal page of one Joe Casale, who always comes up with very pertinent, salient sports and other commentary. And I saw he was railing against Mario Cristobal, and I was like, What? And then I was like, wait, they lost the game?
It's literally inexcusable. I was thinking back. We were talking about it this morning because Stephen A. Smith went through a list of the top 5 Hurricane players of all time, which, there's so many. I think there's too many to really nail it down to 5. But, and we were saying that you could go top 5 at each position probably and have a pretty hefty list and still have to leave some big illustrious names off. But I was thinking of people were alluding that this was a worst loss in Hurricanes football history. And that's saying a lot. Think about this.
Going back to the Flutie game,
Flutie pass play.
Flutie game was number one.
Rank comeback. Maryland up 35 points at halftime, and the Hurricanes end up losing a key ball game. You had that travesty when Terry Porter, the referee, came across and called pass interference on a play and gave Ohio State a second chance to win the championship when it was already on the wraps. The Fiesta Bowl, where Vinny got picked off 6 times, and they lost to a plodding, ugly Penn State team. But this took the cake. It's almost impossible.
It's unfathomable.
Literally impossible to lose from that position.
And we talk about firing offenses. Okay, so like in the food and the restaurant game, there are a couple things that are firing offenses. Like if you're a chef and you know that your fridge has broken and you've got shrimp that have been in there like for 2 days and, that still maybe feels a little cold, but you serve it and then everybody gets sick, that's a firing offense. I've had happen to me in past reviews where there was that case of they were supposed to sous vide cook the chicken before they finished it off in a fryer for a chicken sandwich at a place that was in Coral Springs that shockingly is no more. But the cooks forgot to do the sous vide part, so they basically flash fried raw chicken. And it was something that I brought to a party, and luckily I cut it into 4s and saw that it was completely raw. But then when I inquired as to what happened, then I said, luckily, nobody ate it. But the guy looked at the videotape and said a couple of guys that were supposed to do the processing and cooking just didn't do it. And they just did the flash frying of raw chicken. And he ended up firing them, which I felt bad about. I didn't want anybody to get fired. I always like remediation. But, there's certain things that are just considered firing offenses. So is this or is this not a firing offense?
It's not happening.
They're not gonna.
They're still paying Randy Shannon. I mean, and they're still playing Al Golden. Larry Coker, I think, is collecting a pension from the University.
I think even Bobby Bonilla is getting paid by the University
could
of Miami.
Be, yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, just about everybody with a lingering contract is getting paid by Donna Shalala right now, and she's not even there anymore. No, it's not going to happen. I mean, coaches, that's the thing. I mean, we were talking about it. You're paying a guy $8 million a year to make decisions for you.
But that's basic incompetence. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that is so bad. And the funny part is, literally, the guy that was out tailgating at 3 p.m, who was in section 447, row triple Z, has been drinking the entire ball game, and he's screaming, "Take a knee, take a knee!" And instead of hearing him from the upper deck, they're listening to whomever it was that was giving them the advice on this, which apparently it had to be nobody. But plus, Lubie pointed this out, and I thought it was true also when he brought it up. They had timeouts available to them. So, I mean, they could have called a timeout and tried to figure out what to do in the chaos after, the unsurety of making that first down or not, which would have made a difference in the way they approached it. But once they knew that they had the first down, all they had to do was call a timeout, take a knee, and the ball game's over.
Yeah, it's really unfathomable. And again, learn how to take a knee. This guy is an expert at it. He's become hated for it. But sometimes you want a guy to just
He's still trying to get back in the league, believe it or not. I think the last time he played was like 2007.
I think he realizes he's finished.
Oh, he was supposedly contacting teams about, hey, give me a shot.
Well, I think he should call the University of Miami campus now and say, give me a shot as your time management knee taker expert.
But I mean, this is the thing with coaches too, when they screw up on clock management in football. These are the mechanics of your job. I mean, when you were writing sports or politics or the food critic at the Sunset, there were certain things that you had to know to be able to do this job, and they were inherent as being automatics every time that you wrote a column. And in this case, how do you not know strategy, situations, time considerations?
It seems basic.
What's going on situationally in the game? That's your job. Is the coach
pretty it's I always like to make poker analogies because I'm a degenerate, and I was saying it would be like the same thing if a board on a hold'em game comes up 10 jack queen king ace rainbow, no three of a kind of three of the same suit, then you know that board is the only thing that could be in play. And that is, everybody in the game in the hand is going to chop up the pot because that's the winning pot. It's a straight to the ace.
Yeah.
And I was once in a tournament where a guy went all in with a board of 10 jack queen king ace and rainbow, and the other guy folded.
He bluffed somebody out.
And I just looked at him. I said,
What could he have had? A joker in his hand? That would
I
have.
was like, it might be time to take up bridge. If you make that pull. I mean, there's certain
bluffed
basic.
out. Nice.
He bluffed out a guy with an where the board is going to
hand,
play.
yes.
So that's where the coaches the same thing, and some of them get away with it. Our buddy Nick Saban made a blunder of similar sorts where he threw a pass.
He was livid too. How do you do that? I mean, it's
he
impossible.
stopped the clock where he threw an incompletion.
He handed the ball off a couple of times too after that.
Where he could have taken a clock. You're right. And again, it didn't come back to bite him in the what. And our friend Mike McDaniel is played a little bit of Russian roulette when it comes to game decisions that could have come back to bit him. Nothing as egregious as not taking a knee, but nothing so far has really come back to bite him. But in this case, Mario Cristobal, but Joe Pisarcik, obviously the ghost of that
off the hook.
Meadowlands miracle.
Yeah.
And I apologize to all the the non-sports fans, but this is something that even a non-sports fan can understand. And it's just like, how do you lose a game that's basically unlosable? So we're just still in shock over it. But
yeah, I mean, at least in the Flutie pass play game, they got beat on a miracle play where it was, part of the flow of the game. I mean, Boston College had the ball. It's outrageous to let somebody get behind you. Gerard Phelan was the guy's name, caught the pass. And Darryl Fullington was the defensive back. So Boston College makes a miracle play. In this case, I mean, you literally just handed them a chance to win the game.
So, I mean, I'm kind of, it was stunning, but at least there's one guy in the world who had a worse weekend than me. So, Mario Cristobal, thank you, because I've had to talk about highs and lows and the thrill of victory and agony of defeat.
I think you need to call it good Greek. That's what it looks like to me.
That's
it's time to move out of that house.
Well, even my daughter is saying your house.
When did they build that? In the 1800s?
It floods no matter what. Even when it's not raining hard, I'm like, dude, it's not even raining. How are you?
1960. No, the house doesn't flood. The street floods. Okay, that's cosmetic. But for those who aren't
you need to coat your house with Flex Seal, that tape.
So what happened was, of course, last week I have the thrill of victory. I win a nice poker tournament. I bag like 3,700, almost $4,000. But of course, nobody can stand prosperity. And as soon as I think I have a little bit of a cushion in the bank, boom, Friday night comes. And of course, it has to be on a Friday night. It can't be in the middle of a weekday or when somebody can come out the next day. But first, my AC, the outdoor compressor, just completely went kaput. And then a few hours later, my whole electric went out inside the house, and I could not figure if one had something to do with another. Bottom line was, I think the compressor might have had something to do with it. It might have been overloading and overheating, and then the main circuit breaker on my electric panel basically tripped. And because it was such an old thing, it couldn't be reset, and I had to put in a new main, power, or whatever you call it, the main panel breaker switch, which, because it's an old house built in the 1800s, it was built in 1960, and it has kind of all these older parts and things. Basically, I got the electric back up and running and fixed first. That was only $1,100. And then I got the grim assessment with a second opinion that my AC unit was completely shot, and both the outdoor compressor and then also the inside air handler needs replacing. And I got the estimates and the quotes this morning. Both of them were the same for comparable units, and I am now out, gentlemen. Anybody want to take a guess, a gander on
new AC? You need a whole new AC unit.
And they're going to build it up on a nice raised slab so the floodwaters don't get up. And also, I have to replace the
I'm going to
fuse
go
box.
6 times on that.
Six
Six
grand.
times.
Absolutely correct. You win on The Price is Right without going over. You get to
Wow.
pay for my new air conditioner.
It'd be a pleasure if I had the money, but
Oh my
yeah, I
The
mean, you didn't call
7100.
State Farm and blame the flood. The flood of
I kinda-
1812 or whatever.
Luckily there was a little bit of a cushion left over from the flood, so I do have some money on hand.
There you go.
But NFL, not for long, so that's all going to be going up into a nice pot. But you know what? The bottom line is,
Don't tell me you have no air conditioning right now.
Oh no! Well, I have my wall unit that you could probably hear humming, which I have on cranking now in my office. The rest of the house, it got up to 88 degrees inside the house
boy.
And you
yesterday.
got your elderly mother there.
Well, we got some nice towels and fans. We got some of those tower fans that
You
actually
might need a
feel like
hotel room, I think.
That works out.
well, she can't be moved. But anyway, she's doing fine. We've got the situation monitored and under control. And because I do have a wall unit here, been able to cool her off and not have to move her.
Thank God it wasn't, extreme heat out there.
It actually was cool-ish.
Yeah.
Today was cool. Last night it cooled off in the 70s. So we're surviving, and the new AC should be installed later this afternoon. He's coming right after the show. So again, nobody wants to hear about my poor situation, but it is
Your
man.
tales of woes and misery.
Oh, to cap it
Often a
off.
highlight of these Monday shows.
Well, to cap it off, all right. So it's bad enough that the electric panel got a little bit fried. I had to replace that, $1,100. The AC is done, $6,000. To cap it off this morning. I actually go in. I take a cool shower. I shave because I look like a complete degenerate. And as I'm getting my razor out of my medicine cabinet, I knock over my fancy Sonicare toothbrush. Boom! Right into the toilet.
Oh yeah, wow. Does that
What do you
ruin it
do?
permanently? Yeah.
What do you do when you have your?
You push it out and try to fix it.
Well, you
I
just get a new.
I took it out. I got a new head, the new brush to put into it, but it still skeeves me
Is your
out.
toilet flushing? I mean,
Yeah,
is that also a problem?
Plumbing?
Plumbing?
No, don't give me a Kenahara. It's all good. I think the water heater is next. It's
I would
usually
think
things.
ahead. I wouldn't have no issue. I don't know. My
Yeah.
wife's sort of weird about that. Like I would have no problem.
Hey, let's get on to some
Condo
happier-
living isn't that bad. Townhouses, condo
No,
living. I mean, you might not want to make a change there, Mayo.
It's the worst because my brother is in my mom's condo, and we keep getting hit with assessments every other.
Oh
week
yeah, no, that'll
because
kill
now they got to upgrade. They got to do painting and this, and they had to do the roof on an emergency basis because otherwise they were going to lose the insurance. 6,000 assessment here, another 2,700 coming up in the next 3 months there, and then there's going to be the 40-year structural inspection that there might be. There is no answer. I mean, the answer is move to a yurt in the middle of Wyoming.
you. It's time to get the RV. That's what I've been thinking. If I can, make sure that I have enough electricity that when I'm in the mountains in Montana somewhere, trying to get to some new destination where I can camp out for a while, hopefully I'll get internet and be able to do shows. That's the only consideration. Otherwise, I keep seeing that La Mesa ad on TV where they're like slashed the price on these RVs by like 70%.
Oh, because in COVID, everyone wanted an RV.
Yeah.
So
Tempted
now-
to just hit the road, Mayo. Hit the road.
Now for some good news. I got a exceptionally good tip from our man Joey at Cafe
Oh, yeah, that was
Seville.
good.
And Cafe Seville now is the new polarizing place. Move over Tropical Acres on a Tropical
What happened
Acres
there?
Monday.
Don't you suspect some kind of
Yeah, there is
movement
some
of
sort of-
because
No, he looked into it. He knows it's
Chicanery.
a
There is
place
definitely-
is getting nothing but positive feedback for years and years. Every time you see a post about where can I go for a romantic dinner, I don't want to get clobbered in terms of the price, but I want it to be a little bit on the high end. And you're thinking, wow, what a bargain in terms of quality and taste. Cafe Seville is, and it was like, I would say almost 100% unanimity there.
Yeah, everybody.
But this was
loved
a
it.
great place. Now, all of a sudden, every day there's like another vicious attack. Some guy discovered it out of anger. Oh, no, was encouraged to go there by all the positive reviews and found it just absolutely horrendous on their own, which
Well,
I find that a little suspicious. I really do. The wave of negative reviews all of a sudden for a place that is absolutely great seems a little bit, like the timing of it does seem suspicious.
It's okay. It rolled right off Joey's back. He suspected
Well,
that there was a
People know
plant.
what's going on, yeah.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this. Okay. It's a place that's not trying to reinvent the wheel culinarily. I even wrote about it when I did a review for the Sun Sentinel. I can't believe it was before they even expanded like 7 years ago. I wrote about how this isn't some like Spanish cuisine where they use the frou-frou, some of these innovative Spanish chefs that are doing the molecular gastronomy, and the El Bulli, which is a very world-renowned place. And but this is a solid place that just does some basic things really well. They make a good paella. They make fish dishes. Their fish specials are excellent, fresh fish. He serves it with a side of rice and a side of vegetables. And okay, it's not the most frou-frou, foodie, pushing the envelope forward place, but it's always a satisfying place, and I've always had a good experience.
The sauces, though, you can't go without mentioning the sauces,
the
which really
pulpo,
make those dishes. Yeah,
the Santa Fe pulpo, the octopus appetizer with the Santa Fe sauce, the shrimp in garlic sauce, al ajillo,
Unreal.
that is great
Yeah.
sauce. The Costa Brava snapper, those fish dishes with, again, I can't find any fault with it, but people who are saying, "Oh, it's not true, authentic Spanish," and I think, again, I say it might be a labeling issue if he called it continental instead of Spanish. And people hear Spanish now and they think tapas, and it's not
Yes,
a tapas bar.
yes.
This is
no,
a
no, the stuff melts in your mouth whatever you order.
It's all
I mean,
Anyway,
with
Joey's-
rare exception.
Joey's fine with it. And you've seen there have been some other reviews posted in the last couple of days, positive. A woman went and said her first time, she loved it, was treated really well. And that's the thing, Joey treats people well. And he treated me really well. Did I give you the tip he gave me?
Oh, you did. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I want to do. I mean, I may as well have just popped a cyanide cap because first I thought about saying I was going to impose on you maybe to put in a bet for me to win on the horse, because I looked in the racing form and I said you know what, as far fetched as this may seem, 15-1 morning line, you could make a serious case that if this horse was ready based on his last workout, which was published, that he could run back to his form that he had previously and possibly be a big factor in the race. Joel Rosario up, one of my favorite riders. And so I had like tickets that I have to cash from like last week's visit to the local casino near me, Harris Casino, formerly the Isle, formerly Pompano Park, and formerly the world, winter capital of harness racing. And I was going to run out there, cash these $40 worth of tickets, and put it all on the nose of that horse, the Joey Tip horse in the sixth race
it
at
was
Keeneland,
number 5,
which
it
would have
was
netted me back $500. But did I do that? No, I sat chilly like a fool.
And this is
watching
where
football.
this is where you need to get into the 21st century and give yourself a betting app, because I had one.
Too dangerous.
And I put it in. Joey gave me the push on this Arzak in the Woodford Stakes at Keeneland. Morning line
fun too. Yeah.
Morning line 15-1. He goes off at almost like 12-1. I had 20 to win in place. I also had some pick threes and exactas.
Sweet.
And I was out at Gulfstream with some friends, and but
You must have been a hero there at Christine.
I was just shouting my lungs out when that horse shot up the rail, and I couldn't believe it. And I ended up taking home almost like $800. And this was already after I heard that my AC was completely junk. So I'm screaming, "Yes! I just paid for a tenth of my air conditioner."
$6 dimes is a bit of a tough beat, but that's the going rate these days.
That's what happens these days. Hey, anyway, let's go on to more positive news.
So not only can he cook and run a restaurant, but he can pick horses, which is great.
It's the best. We love Joey, and if you come at him, that's fine. I mean,
Joe Orsino's his big guy, and I wasn't even Orsino special.
So again, food is subjective. You can have a critique that it's maybe not the most authentic Spanish cuisine, and it's true. Joey's from Pittsburgh, and the chef is, I think, originally from El Salvador, and neither one of them have ever been to Spain. The restaurant was originally opened in the 1980s by two brothers from Spain. They sold the restaurant in the mid-90s to Sally and Joey, and they're doing a fine job, and they got the same recipes, and so fine. If you want to knock it for not being authentic Spanish, it's still a delicious restaurant, but fine, you can have your subjective opinion. But the guy had the audacity to say the bartender was drunk. That one got cut out. We didn't allow that, and he had to re-edit it. And then
I have never experienced there.
And then he was saying,
bartender's always very sophisticated.
And he was Kevin's the best on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then he was saying the place is dirty and dusty.
No chance.
And I've looked back at every one of Joey's health inspections. He's never been closed. He's never, maybe one, issue that they correct. The place, look, it's dark in there, but it is not dusty or dirty at all, and his kitchen is immaculate. I've been in there.
Never
That
made
is
me feel that way.
unfair, and
Never.
I hate when
That's
people
fake.
put
That's a fake post.
bull crap, unfair, unsupported, factually incorrect. Go to where. Go to Eat Tapas with that piece of POS ownership there that renege on their contracts. But we talked about that on Friday. I don't want to go into that anymore.
You don't really need to defend Cafe Seville with making negative comments about another joint, even though there are some suspicions as to the source of these newfound criticisms. But all I can say is I've been going there probably since they opened. I was lucky to discover it by complete accident, even though it wasn't far from where I lived at the time. And I went there for a business meeting, and these guys took me there for lunch. And at the time, Joey was serving lunch. It was the best deal on lunch that you would find anywhere in South Florida. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the portions were pretty close to what you got at the dinner menu, and the price was like absurdly low for that kind of quality. And sure enough, I mean, I've been going there 30 years. And
he needs no defense. He needs no defense.
Yeah, the place is great. Come on.
And it's fine. It's actually celebrating. I think it's coming up on 38 years when it first opened. Right? Joey's been the owner for almost
mid-90s.
30.
Yeah.
Bottom line is this: it's one of those things.
And he's been the same guy. I mean, when he comes to the table, you feel great. You feel very welcomed. Sally's fantastic when she greets you there at the front desk. Again, the
Joey,
wait staff is very, very professional, and they all work as a team. Terrific place all the way around.
Joey Esposito and Jack Studiali at Tropical Acres are cut from the same cloth. They go around, they touch the tables, they try to make sure everything is okay. They don't always get honest answers. If you're going to nod and say everything's fine and then go home and write a 10,000 word diatribe about why the place sucks on Let's Eat, that's what really.
How did that get through the administration? I guess that shows that you're not biased, Mike Mayo. Because
no, well, I actually initially didn't touch it, and it kind of like a
blind, unfounded attacks.
A judge recuses,
not appropriate.
Like the way a judge recuses themselves from certain cases. In the case of our sponsors, I usually recuse myself from any post that gets submitted, particularly negatively about a sponsor. I left it there for one of the other admins. One of the other admins sent it back and had issues with the guy making allegations about the bartender being drunk and saying the place was dirty. It got revised to remove the bartender reference, and it got revised to remove dirty and just say dusty. So that other admin then approved it. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was. I did not ask who gave the order or who approved that. It was fine. That's fine. But again, when
just
something
seems odd.
When something comes through, I'm going to stand and put in some factual corrections or give my own opinions and experiences based on my past, and a lot of other people did too. And that's what separates Let's Eat from Yelp. Yelp, there's not a back and forth. It's just that sometimes they let the owner respond one time, except if that owner is Reno.
Well, the attacks have also been flying. I mean, and different. I mean, really divided. Although the majority of people love Heritage, but people since that show have been talking about Reno, and and all kinds of different things are showing up on Let's Eat that seem really out of line.
Polarizing places are actually, Jack Studiali has learned this because Tropical Acres, it's not to everybody's liking, even though I love it, and it's a Tropical Acres Monday. Cafe Seville, I guess now
I can't imagine.
We've unearthed that there are some people that don't like it for whatever particular reasons. And now
have you gone there? I mean, there any restaurant like I love the place, right? You love Cafe Seville. Lubie hasn't been there yet, so he's waiting to go. But and there are many times. I'm sure you experience this a lot because sometimes you have a little bit of oddball taste. Although maybe that's under the banner of being more diversified and sophisticated than the rest of us, whatever. But I mean, I've gone there with people, and after raving about a place, or it doesn't have to be Cafe Seville, but any place, and they, they're not as impressed with as you are sometimes. It just happens.
Well, it's the expectations game. If it gets built up so much, and everybody says, "Oh, you got to see this movie. It's the greatest movie of all time,"
but it wasn't because it was bad. Yeah, I mean, it was just that was their personal taste. Maybe that's not really their bag, is to have seafood in a spicy sauce like that, or something.
The other bottom line is that it actually is good for business to have these differences of opinion, because then people who are really curious and good food lovers, good foodies say, I want to check it out for myself. And that's what's happened a lot at Tropical Acres, a whole new wave and a whole new generation based upon these kind of food fights that break out on Let's Eat. People say, you know what, I got to go in there and try it for myself. And some of them love it, and some of them might not love it as much, but that's okay. Jack understands the game. He says we're not for everyone. Joey's the same. He let it roll off his back. He goes, I'm not worried. He goes,
well, yeah. I mean, his clientele is solid. I mean, he's sold out most of the time, and even in the dead of summer, he's able to go ahead and
Reno,
keep pace, which is
Reno and Heritage.
Tough.
Reno and Heritage is the same way. He knows he has his style. It might not be for everybody. It might be abrasive to some people, but it's a small place, and he has some loyal customers, and he's got great food and great product and great service. If you treat them well, they'll treat you well. And his attitude is okay, fine. If people can write these
complaints, like
so there was a post, and this was a sneaky one. A guy just posted a very neutral of like, what do we think about Heritage and their service and their management? Just left it at that. I approved that on a Saturday morning, right? He did the dirty edit where he goes in after the fact and adds a whole story afterwards. And I didn't see this because
you can do that. I mean,
air conditioning outrageous. You could always edit your post, and basically he added a whole other story about how one time he tried to order a pizza by phone, and then it turned into a big rig. And then, but he added that story and the negativity after it was originally
the fact
approved. Now I could do two things, and there was already this big conflagration, hundreds of
reeks
comments.
Of a Trump deposition.
And I have two choices: do I just delete the whole post because the guy did a bait and switch basically and tried to pull a fast one on me, which I have his name and I remember you, and you'll never get another post approved again. But but it's a sneaky.
Was it Mario Cristobal?
No, but it was a sneaky thing to do. That guy who did it, I think his name was, I don't even know what his name is. But the bottom line is it was sneaky, but I let it up. I let it stay up because there was so much discussion already. All right, enough of this negative let's eat crap.
Yeah, I want to see this is something that does influence your disposition, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
You have come to loathe certain aspects of the very thing that has made you the strongest person in the food industry right now with your 120,000 following.
Self-hating, self-sabotage. I hate my own group. I hate myself some days. But what I don't hate is the Gulfstream 10 Palms contest, especially not when I, you know what? We put in this new tiebreaker wrinkle of the football games. Turns out this week, not even necessary. We've got to give a big, big props round of applause to one Don Jaffe, who
didn't his wife win last week?
The other people are allowed to win. I don't think the wife won last week.
Actually,
Gene Jaffe did win last week.
Come on,
so they could bring 4. Family members are allowed to win.
No, that seems legit.
People.
Yeah.
No, and Don has been religious about sending in every week, and he's been very close.
Well, and he's active on the chat line. We're happy for him. No question.
And this is completely, again, the family members. There are no rules. It's not like a deposition where you can't be compelled to testify.
Hey, if Lubie won, I would expect him to take me. So
yeah,
I don't even think we're eliminated from the competition. Well, you might.
Congrats, we got back to back. I guess Gene Jaffe won last week, and then Don Jaffe again. Here's the really impressive part. Okay, we had over 40 entries in the hopper this week.
Nice.
We again, it was picking the winner of the Princess Rooney Stakes at Gulfstream. Ended up being the number 5 horse, trained by Safi Joseph. Went off at 11-1 or 10-1. 3 Witches.
Did Joey tip you on that one too?
No, actually, I went with Mary Quite Contrary, and luckily I played Win Place Money. That was one of the favorites, Luca. But 3 Witches came storming over the top in deep stretch. And number 5 was Don Jaffe was the only one to have the number 5 horse. A ton of people had the number. Yes. Number 2 finished second. A ton of people had the number 2. The number 8 finished third. A ton of people had the number 8. I'm happy that we didn't have to start coming down to the second tiebreaker. But kudos to Don, because even if it did come down to the second tiebreaker, let's say somebody else had number 5, which they didn't. He won it outright. But Don Jaffe also had the Dolphins winning by 17 points. They won by 15. So extra credit.
Like 21, but
he aced his degenerate portion.
21. It wasn't 21. The Dolphins won by 15.
16
points.
They won by.
he's saying he had them winning by 21.
No, he had them winning by 17,
Yes,
and
Okay.
the story-
They
and
won
it was
by
actually
16. Yeah.
they won. It was 31-16. It was by 15
Oh,
points.
16
15
they had?
points.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
they won by
15
15.
points.
He had them winning by 17.
I'm worse at counting this up than Mario Cristobal is at ticking
I'm
on
so
seconds.
good at numbers. Now, among the other losers, somebody did have the Dolphins winning right on the dot by Dolphins winning by 15.
Oh, wow.
But they did not have the right horse. And the first tiebreaker, you got to have the right horse in
you
order
gotta
to get to the second tiebreaker.
You also need to get the right
So-
restaurant. And if you're a gentleman who watches every show that we do, including to me giving away the name of the restaurant Friday after Mayo gave you the restaurant by every clue he gave, the fact that you are a pseudo producer of this show.
Oh,
and
Jim
putting
Sarney.
it in the freaking restaurant.
Jim
It's a little
Sarney.
weird.
How did he do that? And he just ate there Friday.
Wait, so let's fill in the rest of the
He
audience.
was
Jim
there
Sarney,
when he sent it in.
Jim Sarney sends in an entry saying the name of the restaurant is Legends.
It's not even close.
Where did he get that from?
He gave-
Well, there is a Legends Sports Tavern. They must have,
but I mean,
hot
but he was
bartenders
at-
or
he was
hot
at
waitresses.
Heritage.
Your clues
I
were
know.
He
fake.
went there Friday because he, I think, has a connection to the previous place, which was owned, I guess, by Reno's family.
His comeback to me was that Heritage is legendary, so it was just a slip of his brain. And I said we're going to be sending him a shipment of.
How old
Prevagen.
is Jim now? Did he just celebrate a birthday?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ask the numbers except if it's you. I think
Me,
Sarney is-
I'm amazed these numbers keep adding up. It's amazing to keep rolling on here.
I'm guessing
Pretty incredible.
Sarney's in between you and Bonnie, but we won't give the actual number. But we
Okay.
do. I think we do have to give him a bottle of Prevagen and maybe help that memory.
Will,
out.
will you eat a jellyfish on the show? I asked you that over the weekend. It struck me that the memory loss that everybody seems to be incurring. And look, I couldn't think of for 3 days the name of a guy I probably watched pitch 50 times. Bert Hooton of the L.A. Dodgers. I was trying to think of the last proponent that I knew of that threw the knuckle curve, which is now a pitch that Aaron Nola of the Phillies mixes in with his repertoire. And I must have asked 20 people. Nobody could come up with it. And then out of nowhere, like all of a sudden, I see Bert Hooton, formerly with the Cubs and then with the Dodgers. And so there's something to maybe trying to enhance your memory a little bit. Would you be willing to eat a jellyfish on the show?
I mean,
A
jellyfish.
and jellyfish sandwich. Let's put it on something that would make the jellyfish.
No, and it's.
I don't know what the taste is of that, but
They sell you
would you do
jellyfish?
it?
in its proper context, that Chinese restaurants, a lot of them serve sliced cold jellyfish. It's a delicacy.
Yeah.
If Lubie goes out to one of my favorite Chinese restaurants there along 441, like Hong Kong
Jellyfish?
City or Dragon City is on Sterling Road, if you get a jellyfish appetizer, I will gladly eat that on the show with chopsticks.
You would? Okay,
I'll put
all
that
right.
up for you. Oh,
Well, let's go.
Maybe
those
for a little
arrangements.
money. I need to raise some capital now to pay for the
Oh, you're not
house
stuck.
expenses.
You're
but-
so full of it.
Hey, let's do a break. We got to talk about our friends. It is a Tropical Acres Monday. We did make some mention of Jack Studielli and the classiness of the whole establishment, the quality, the prices, the value, the service. And again,
Think about the
maybe
price
not
at that
for
place
everybody.
versus like these high-end steakhouses.
yeah, if you're going to go to a Mastro's, that Mastro's place, or
Everything's a la carte, man. Never mind Parlez-vous Francais. Just give me the two sides alone, and you're way ahead of the pack there at Tropical Acres. And then you're talking about like a $40 entree versus like an $85, $90
yeah.
entree that's served with nothing.
and you go in there on tonight on a Monday night. Okay, let's say you go into the bar at about 6 o'clock. You get happy hour till 6:30. You have your one cocktail, half price. Maybe get a little light bite like an escargot for
Escargot would be
$6.
perfect to start your night.
So you
Yep.
can get like a cocktail and an appetizer for, let's say, $14 or $15. Then you go over to the main dining room and you get that twin lobster special for $39 and a half price bottle of wine and one of his prime ribs, that the queen cut, which is a beautiful piece of roasted prime rib. Again, that's in the 30s. And you have the half price wine for like 20. You're out of there for less than $100,
Yep.
including the cocktail, the happy hour, maybe a little bit over. I mean, for two people to eat like that, it's an incredible value. It's why I love Tropical Acres. Besides that, the food is great. I love the filet mignon barrel cut. I love the prime rib, the rack of lamb, and the twin lobster special is going on for another few weeks. Again, two of them, $39 with a salad and side dish. So you get everything you need and more. Tropical Acres is open every day but Sunday. They also have a butcher shop there that you could come and pick up some of those great quality cuts of meat to throw on the grill at home. That's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Dining room opens with the early bird at 4:30 to 5:30, and then on to the regular menu. Go to Tropical Acres and tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right.
We're going to break.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are freezing up.
Oh, we don't
So,
hear.
hopefully we'll take a
He's
knee
freezing. Okay.
and come back with
Yeah.
more of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Take a knee. Take a knee. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Max's, 9089 West Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. For more than a decade, a top spot for lunch, weekend brunch, and dinner at the Delray Marketplace in West Delray. It's a family-friendly dining room in a comfortable setting with also an outdoor patio that's pet-friendly. American classics like chicken and waffles, brick oven pizzas, chopped salads, and of course, great burgers, including the famous Farmhouse Burger and the traditional Prime Burger. Open 7 days with happy hour at the bar and high tops from opening until 6:30. For reservations and more information, go to bertandmaxes.com. That's the buzzer. That was the noise I heard when I just ran my ATM card trying to get some money out for tonight's poker tournament. Like, there's no more money.
Where are you
left,
playing
so-
tonight? Hard Rock?
Hard Rock. I'm desperate now. I gotta make thousands of dollars every night.
Hey, if you can do it,
yeah.
I mean, gamble professionally. What would be better?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick to my amateur status and consider this my full-time job, which is pretty sad. Hey, we got a big announcement, guys, that here on the Lunchbox, we're going to be doing a time change, and not just because the clocks are going to be moving back.
When
We're
does that
actually
happen, by the way?
moving forward.
Clock?
So
And how do we still have
everybody,
Columbus Day when, like, Columbus was supposedly in disgrace? What's that all about?
it's no longer.
People's Day for most
yeah.
people's.
Oh, it's called something
Thank
else, yeah?
It's now, I think, called. My daughter was telling me this because she's in that younger
Italian
generation
American
that
Day?
stays on top of these. No, Indigenous Peoples Day. We're talking about
Indigenous
instead of
Peoples Day.
celebrating the oppressors, we are now recognizing the oppressed,
All
and
right.
that's fine. I'm good with that. Indigenous Peoples Day, and to celebrate,
That's
I'm going
me
to be
after that
pumping.
Missouri loss to the spread. That was hideous against LSU.
Oh, well, I'm going to be pumping some money into the local Seminole
Oh,
tribal
good. Yeah.
coffers tonight. So that's. I think there's no better way to celebrate than by going down to one
Help
of the.
make up for the atrocities of the past.
Yeah. So, actually, I was in there yesterday with my buddy Michael
Why
Cunningham.
don't you just get a room there? I mean, what the
Well,
heck? Why are you going
I
back and forth?
can't move my mom. There's certain things now that she is
She
set up, and
couldn't
she
have a
can't just.
penthouse at the Hard
No.
Rock? No?
No,
All right.
we're at the stage now, Defo, where mobility and just it's
She wants to
these
be
have all
comfortable where
become
she is.
issues.
That's fine.
But she needs
Yeah.
to be comfortable, and she's comfortable enough. So
right,
anyway,
so what's the
we're
deal?
going to be. The deal is this: we're going to be starting next Monday, October 16th. We're moving the starting time, so the live part of the live stream will be from 1 to 2 p.m. So 1 to 2 p.m. Set it in your calendars. And again, because it's a streaming show and anybody could watch it anytime, day or night, we do have most of our viewers are coming on later in the day and checking it out. Sometimes in the evening hours. Sometimes I've heard from people that we're a very good, sleep-inducing a sleep aid. So,
I don't know what to say about that.
people with insomnia, or people trying to unwind between my mellifluous tones and the professional tones of Jeff Defo DeForest. Then Lubie speaks and it jolts them up from their sleep. And
wait.
we
Luby's
keep
voice
watching
is a
the
voice
show.
that grows on you. Be careful,
Oh,
Mayo,
it's-
what you wish for.
It's
I
grown
have
on
Luby
me.
in my head at all times, right? I mean, if I have a thought while I'm on my walk of life, I hear Luby responding to it.
So, again, starting next Monday, including our remote shows, we're going to do it from 1 to 2. It's just going to dovetail a little bit better with all of our schedules. It'll let me to get longer exercise and walks of life in.
Are
which,
you still
is-
on it?
Oh,
You,
yeah,
you look
I'm
good.
still
You look like you've been outside.
Oh, you know what? I saw my daughter yesterday for like the first
She
time in
didn't
over a
recognize you?
week,
Yeah.
and it was good. It was gratifying. She said, "Dad, you look skinny."
Good. Well, you should. I mean, you know what? When you make definitive changes like that, where you start exercising regularly and eating better, at least food in terms of accommodating weight loss, you should show signs right away. I mean,
Yeah, no, and again, it'll give me time for longer walks and getting up to the gym in the mornings and getting my
you in
exercise
the gym
out of the
still
way.
is a picture that I haven't been able
You can
to
do it.
We're getting
completely
there.
comprehend. Yeah.
I haven't. I've been doing more of the walks lately than the gym, but
Walk is good,
I'm
huh?
gonna be easing into it. And again, even my phone has noticed it. It had that alert. It says we've noticed that we've detected a change in
Oh, yeah.
trends in your activity. And then I was like, oh, and I was like,
Mine-
oh yeah, you've been walking more and burning more calories.
Mine
in the
sends
last
that
5 weeks.
when I go to too many porn sites.
So now you totally got me flustered.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, 1 to 2. It's
1
going to
to
be
2.
the 1 to 2 hour for the lunchbox. And again, it seems like all our sponsors, when we go around, they say it's fine 1 to 2. Sometimes the lunch rush tapers off, so it's better for them, and it'll hopefully be better for everybody out there. And again, you could just find us in the usual spots and just download it and watch it at your convenience. That'll be starting next week, next Monday, the 1 p.m. start for the
Well, we're,
lunchbox.
we're hoping too that that's in conjunction with Lubie and I, making a big announcement also about
Right.
our itinerary.
But that is still on the wraps. Luckily, I could move unilaterally, and if you guys are on board with it, we're gonna go to the.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
That's great.
And if anybody out there objects, let us know now. Jim Sarney wants us to go to 90 minutes. As soon as you remember the name of the restaurant, we'll go.
Sonny, I mean, just tell Sonny we are going 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
This moment, after that move they made with the contest.
So,
buy
and
it.
people will notice, we have been adding sponsors and we have been going a little bit longer some days to get, make sure we give our props to everybody. And that's a good time now to talk about our friends at Rappaport's Restaurant Group. Saw that you just ran the ad for Burt and Max's. We're going to be going out there, I think, later this month. I've kind of lost track. I know we're going to be going to Deck 84. and then I
Is it
forgot if we're
Max's?
going
I
to
think Max's Grill was the other.
or Max's Grill. You're right. I get confused because of all the Maxes that are about. But there's Burton Max's in West Delray. There's Max's Grill at the in
Okay.
Boca Raton at Meisner Park. There is Deck 84 on the
All right.
Intercoastal in Delray Beach, and there's Prezzo's,
Yes.
a restaurant so nice that they have it twice. There's one in Palm Beach Gardens and there's one in Boca. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about Prezzo today because, again, it's contemporary Italian cuisine, comfort food, house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with the oven-roasted garlic bulbs that you just smear on that focaccia. It's so good. And in garlic we trust is their slogan. And you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service, tremendous value, open 7 days with lunch, brunch, happy hour, and dinner. There's great wine deals and a full bar at both locations. Don't miss for lunchbox time. They have a lunchbox special. It's $14 where they have this variety of different items that you can order during the lunchtime. And they also have that great chicken Milanese sandwich. It's a real treat. For reservations and more information, please go to eatprezzo.com.
Great spot, really was. Anything Bert Rappaport touches is, as we say, and we're fortunate to be able to say this about many of the people that we deal with, just exuding class. And that was a great, great spot. All right, coming back to wrap up today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on a Monday in a moment.
It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox, and just a couple of reminders. I guess number one, we're going to be doing our Lunchbox Brunch Bash at 10 Palms on October 29th, and it looks like some winners are going to be coming out that day, and some non-winners are still going to be coming out at that discounted rate of $40. And yeah, Don Jaffe, I'm going to send you the email, but it looks like you and your wife can also bring some guests because you each have won, and you get 2 packages for each victory. So you get 4 comped, and that's a wonderful thing. And if you want to come out on the 29th to 10 Palms, and Joe Beja always does a great job, just email me, mikemayoeats@gmail.com with the number in your party. Again, things get rolling there about noon. It's an all-day brunch buffet overlooking the racetrack. We play the races. We have a great time. So just email me, mikemayoeats@gmail.com if you want to come on out. This just in... and I think the MAGA crowd might be doing cartwheels, but the 2024 race now has its spoiler. I mean, just as there was a Ralph Nader in 2000 and a Jill Stein in 2016, Robert Kennedy Jr. just announced he's going to be running as an independent, a third-party independent. He is withdrawn from the Democratic primaries in the Democratic field. He's no longer a Democrat. He is now an independent, and we're going to get an answer to the question of, do people, well, whatever. We will see. It's going to be an interesting...
That guy's a lunatic. That guy's insane.
But he's going to peel off some votes from somewhere, and the question is from where, and will it make a difference? All right, we usually don't talk politics here, but I just...
Francis Suarez, man.
He's out.
He got my vote.
He already quit.
Yeah.
He's already
good
out
hair,
of the
man.
race.
It's all just about the good hair.
Oh, and look, I know we're almost up against it, but we're talking about Lubie and the great voice of Lubie. Lubie had a dining experience. I want him to tell us about you and the Shirls. Where did you go this weekend, and how was it?
Went to Kaizen. Those who follow the Lunchbox, it's one of the early days, pre-video, actually. Mayo, Nikki Mohan, and the Visit Lauderdale editions did a show at Kaizen with Kui Lamb. Kui was not there, sadly. Again, I wanted to see him because the guy was great. I loved his story. But it worked out. It was amazing. We had a reservation. We went Saturday night. The place was packed, but I was able to move the reservation because I was very loud during Florida State's game, so my wife didn't get to get her customary Saturday nap in. So I was able to move the hour. They were cool with it. We had a nice table. The food was fantastic. I'm not the biggest sushi fan. Like, sushi to me is like an appetizer. Like, she could pound sushi. That was the first time we've ever had sushi where I felt full. I felt satiated. I felt content.
And you had a mix of things, some rolls that had some cooked items, and even like the beef.
Was like a seared ahi tuna kind of a thing, but in like a sushi style, which was fantastic. We got this roll that was like a beef tenderloin, but unlike Gulfstream, it was with sweet potato and some other things, and that was really good. We got some other roll, I forgot the name, but that was fantastic. It had some mango in it, and then we got the bananas Foster.
They do it like a
Foster dessert was ridiculous.
They do they do it like a crepe, or it's like a little bit?
They have banana chunks that are breaded and deep fried.
Oh, fried, deep fried.
Deep fried. It's like fried. You know, you get the fried ice.
I did alert I alerted Kui that you were coming. He told me he wasn't going to be working on the sushi bar that night. I don't know if he was out and about, but he said that he was going to alert the manager on duty, and they were going to quote take good care of you. So I hope they took good care of you.
We were taken care of, but I think everyone was taken good care of.
Yeah, it's one of those places that everybody's a VIP and the food's fantastic.
And the prices were tremendous.
And
the prices,
yeah,
literally,
and
we order sushi in, get half of what we got, and pay 2/3 normally to not go to a nice restaurant on a Saturday night. Like,
and it's up on Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. It used to be that what was the name of the restaurant? Bon Gusto Italian restaurant. In that same
staple there. Yes.
Yeah, and it's so it's like 5800 block, I think, in North Federal, right across from that mega church.
Cypress on Federal.
Yeah,
nice little spot.
North of
Is
Commercial.
It, the same size as Bon Gusto? That was kind of a small restaurant.
It's that's basically the same size,
okay.
same size, and but it's cozy. And I mean, they have a couple of different dining rooms and an outdoor patio area, and a sushi bar area. It's again, he's ruined me for all other sushis. Basically, I can't. Anytime my daughter says, "Oh, let's go for sushi," and she wants to go to some like Thai sushi place in Hollywood, I was like, "No, I gotta." The only place I can have sushi now is with Kui. Although that miso Japanese tapas actually is in the running now too. Tuan does a really nice job. There's many places to get good sushi. It's just Kui does an exceptional job. We have to get back there to do another show, and then sign him up to become a sponsor because
that place is really good.
He's Lunchbox approved, and it's one of those also places on Let's Eat that, you know, near unanimous praise. 95%. Maybe one person said, "Oh,
what's cool? Look, and we didn't feel rushed. I wouldn't go on Let's Eat, but they get you in and out. Whatever reason, the stuff was prepared. So, like, if you were going to see a show, or because that's a lot of the times, like, you want to have dinner and go out, but you don't want to spend 3 hours at both places. Like, we got there at like 8, and we were out by like 9:15, and we didn't feel rushed. We didn't feel starved either.
Yeah.
It was a perfect
on a Saturday night. They get a nice crowd trying to turn the tables, but they do things very efficiently, and you don't feel rushed at all. So I'm glad that you had a good culinary and sushi experience, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Me, I ate some stuff over the weekend, but I was mainly running around from Gulfstream Casino on Gulfstream on Saturday, and I ran into Joe Beja out at that what they call it, the Carousel Club. Had some friends in and around. Actually was out there with Perkins, but my former Sun Sentinel colleague Mike Cunningham, he works for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution now, and they actually sent him down here to cover the Georgia Tech Miami game, and he was like, "I don't know why I'm here. It's a nothing game." And I thought they were gonna pull me to be at the Braves playoffs, because Mike is kind of like a general columnist and jack of all trades now. But sure enough, that's why they send you sometimes, because goofy stuff happens. He had quite the story to write about. Not only that, then yesterday he had off. He stayed around town an extra day. We went out to the sports bar at the Hard Rock, where they have blackjack tables in the middle of the sports bar. I got knocked out of the poker tournament with a horrendous beat. Flopped a set of tens, and another guy flopped a set of aces, and I was out the door. I lost 150 on poker, won 120 on blackjack, and then I found my Francesco Defo. I let Michael Cunningham pick games all day, and I just booked his action at $25 a pop. He went 0 for 3, and I got another 75 in my pocket. And that was wonderful. He gave me an extra touchdown because I didn't want to touch the Giants. He said, "I'll make it 19. I'll give you 19. I was like, sold. So I got the Giants in 19 points. And then I got the Eagles giving 4 points. And then he chose the Cowboys. I gave him an extra 2 points as a sweetener. He got the Cowboys getting like 5 and a hook. And that didn't work out so good for him. So, all right, enough of my degeneracy. Defo, you're making did you go out to your favorite places over the weekend?
And this is the longest goodbye in the history of a show, Mayo. I got to get out of here.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
I'll see everybody tomorrow. Enjoy every air conditioner and enjoy every sandwich.
Cold jelly and custard.